All right, let's go live.
He's here.
Oh, he's here now? I mean, I said to like 90 seconds ago. It wasn't a long time.
We were just going to skip and not have you on the show due to your swashbuckling activities.
It's all good. He already paid me, so.
And we're live. So what's going on, everybody? So I hope everyone's weekend was good. I had a good weekend as far as fun-wise. I went to my cousin's wedding. I'd say everything about the weekend was good, except for the fact that I lost thousands of dollars betting on the stupid-ass Major League Baseball. Saturday was actually okay. Top bets went 2-1 on Saturday, but Friday and yesterday, terrible days. Wow. Yeah, really need to have a good week here. Let's start it off on the right foot. Just 6 games tonight, as I'm sure you're aware. Let's anything else before we get started? No, let's get started. All right, Reds at Orioles. All right, so I feel like I wanted the sides I liked were both the super square sides. Everyone's on the Reds and everyone's on the over. And I wanted to go either of the other two ways, but I couldn't. So I ended up settling on the over at 10. And it sucks as far as value because if you played this one when it opened up at 9. So you could have got a whole extra run here. This over is actually juiced to the over too. It's minus 115 on most books. You can still get it minus 110 on, I think it's bet 365. But anyway, lefty matchup here. And if we're just talking bats off the jump, Cincinnati's been much better than Baltimore against lefties. In the last 14 days, the Reds are 6th. Orioles are 16th. So lefty matchup, and the Reds bats have been better against lefties than Baltimore's recently. So there's a lean from the Reds before we even get started. I would love, like I said, I would love to straight up play Cincinnati, but we've lost so much value. This one opened up at Cincinnati plus 130. It's now down to a plus 111 last I looked. So dropped almost a full 20 cents, 30 cents on the Baltimore side. So I just feel like we missed too much value there on the Reds. And also, the Reds may have the batting advantage against lefties, but I think I'd have to say I trust Cole Irvin more than I trust Brandon Williamson. In his only home start since returning from AAA, Cole Irvin was actually pretty good. He went 5 in the third inning, 6 hits, 1 run. Granted, it was against the Royals, but it's the only time we've seen him pitch at home since returning from AAA. And if you remember, dating back to his days with Oakland, he has stretches where he's a reliable starting pitcher at home. We've seen him do it before. In fact, there were stretches on Oakland where he was a bet-on pitcher at home. So I just have more faith in him, especially it being a home start, than I do against Brandon Williamson. I mean, Brandon Williamson in his last 2 starts just got hit up by Colorado and Kansas City, the Rockies and the Royals. If you're a left-handed starter, you can't be getting hit up by the Rockies and the Royals. Those are 2 of the worst lineups against lefties in baseball this year. So I expect Baltimore to absolutely score on Brandon Williamson. The last 2 lefties that the Orioles tried hitting against, Justin Steele and Yusei Kikuchi, they scored 2 runs on each of them. They could score 2 runs on those 2. They could definitely score more than 2 on Brandon Williamson at home. So, and then you add on the fact that both bullpens are bottom 6 or 7 in the league in the last 14 days, and I landed on the over here. If I, gun to my head, had to pick a side, I'd probably take Baltimore just because the heavy public's on Cincinnati, but that's kind of hypocritical because the heavy public's on the over too, and I'm playing the over. So I really don't have a lean as far as the side.
Yeah, my favorite play for this game is a little bit of a hitting prop. I like Austin Hayes over 1.5 total bases. Sorry, I skipped you, Toast. I'm just going to continue because I started. Yeah, I got that at plus 110 this morning. You could get it at minus 107 now on Barstool. Still some great value. As Kyle was saying, Brandon Williamson struggled, and ever since that first start at Coors, he's been on a steady decline. And over his last 6 starts against righties, he's rocking a 678 FIP and a 384 WOBA, both pretty dreadful. Now we got Austin Hayes, who has absolutely crushed this guy's pitch mix over the last month. 520 WOBA, 474 ISO. That's elite. And against left-handed pitchers in general over the last 30 days, he's got a 243 WRC plus and 1.271 OPS. The guy is simply crushing lefties. He's now cashed his last 6 of 8 at home against a starting left-handed pitcher, averaging 2.8 bases. And his hits, runs, plus RBI line is at minus 155, despite going under in 4 straight starts. So they're confident that he produces in this spot. He's gone under 3 straight times, 3 times this season. He's gone under 4 straight times twice, but he's never gone under in 5 straight games. He's in danger of doing so today, but I think it's a smash spot. I think it's a buy low spot, and I think he's going to produce here. Let's not forget, with the weather, we got a nice boost in runs at 23% and a 43% home run boost, according to ballparkpal.com. So really like the value on Hayes today. Thinks he gets those 2 bases.
Yeah, you already know what it is. I'm on the Reds. I bet it last night as soon as it came out and sent it out at plus 130. I know that you can't get that number anymore, but that's why I wouldn't really love it as much at the number it is now. But I definitely did play it last night. Understand that Brandon Williamson's not a name that we like to back. But honestly, I'm still at a point with this Reds team where I really don't care about all the numbers. They're just playing above their heads right now. I don't love the spot for them coming out of that Atlanta series. But at the same time, if you take a look at Baltimore's bullpen, Batista, who's their closer, went the last 2 nights. Colombo, I like to call him, went 2 of the last 3 nights. So they'll have Cano. But, I just think that when I got the number last night, it was way too big to pass up.
Someone in the comments says he hopes I lose all my bets because I took the Lord's name in vain. Just to brush up on your Christian, gambling's actually a sin. So all of us should lose if you're trying to draw a straight line there, but it seems like you're just a weirdo. Next game, Brewers at Mets. I am going to lay the 1.5 with the Metropolitans here. I was trying to decide how I wanted to bet the Mets. I'm going to do it. I got it at plus 110. All right, Mets minus 1.5, plus 110. All right, so Verlander's pitching, and if you just look at his recent game logs, it's such an absolute roller coaster. So check this out. These are his last 6 starts. Let's start it back at his home start against Cleveland. So this is exactly 6 starts ago. Home against Cleveland, 8 innings pitched, 1 run. Throws a gem. Then he goes on the road to Coors Field, gets rocked. 5 inning pitch, 6 runs. Comes back home, another gem. 6 innings, 1 run to the Blue Jays. Goes back on the road, gets rocked again by the Braves. Comes back home, throws another gem against the Yankees. Goes on the road, gets rocked again. Basically, it's the same pattern. Throws a great game at home, goes on the road, gets rocked. Throws a great game at home. Back and forth 3 different times now for 6 total starts on this pattern. If you continue to follow that, he's back home now and should throw a gem against Milwaukee. Throw that pattern thing out the window and stick to this. 3 consecutive great starts at home for Verlander. He should throw a great one here against the Brewers. Yes, the Milwaukee bats have shown signs of life recently, definitely. But they've been doing most of that damage against lefties, actually. On the last 14 days, Milwaukee's 9th in baseball against left-handed pitching. In the same time span, they're 29th against righties. So their numbers against right-handed pitching certainly have not been skyrocketing like their numbers against lefties have. So yeah, I like Verlander to throw a great game here. And in the fact that you got the Brewers flying in from Cleveland after an extra inning game yesterday. Not that I think that's the hugest deal, but that's certainly a little extra ammo to add on there. Now on the other side, we've got Colin Ray on the road. Gets a Mets lineup that really hasn't been bad. Mets have had their struggles, but it's really not the bats. I mean, they just can't make out. So I expect the Mets to score runs on Colin Ray. And then bullpen-wise, the Brewers are missing an arm or two. That guy, their 8th inning guy, Payams, he threw 26 pitches yesterday, so I doubt he's available. Mets have all 3 of their main guys, Ottavino, Raley, and Robertson, all rested and available. So I like the Mets with a comfortable win.
Toast, I'll let you go this time.
Is it me or Beaver?
Not you, Chief.
Yeah, I'm on the Mets 2 ways. Mets first 5 minus the half a run at minus 130. And then I also played the Mets on the run line as well, just like you did. Same type of deal. Devin Williams went yesterday as well. He only threw 16 pitches, but he doesn't really, I mean, he looks all right, but we've known to see him over the last month blow a couple saves. So I don't really, him after pitching a game doesn't really scare me that much. The only guy that in that Milwaukee bullpen that didn't work yesterday that are their main arms is Matt Bush. And Matt Bush has a over 7 ERA. But I really doesn't really matter to me about all that stuff. It was me with Verlander at home with the Mets getting absolutely embarrassed last night, throwing that game away. So I just think that they'll be able to come back home on a short trip home. and dominate tonight. So it's just a spot that I think the Mets should smash.
Yeah, for this one, my favorite angle has to be Verlander over 6.5 Ks. You may look at the season-long hit rate and be like, dude, what the hell type of play is that? But at plus 110, I think there's a bit of value here. The Brewers' projected lineup right now has 9 K targets. That's right, you heard me. 9 K targets. There's only 9 guys in a lineup. There's 9 guys with a K percentage above 22%, 7 with a K percentage above 26%, and 3 with a K percentage above 30% over the last 30 days in this lineup. Over the last 2 weeks, they're 29th in K percentage and WRC plus against righties. And then against the Brewers' current lineup, Verlander owns a 463 OPS, 34 K percentage, 3 starts against Milwaukee, smashed the line all 3 times, averaging 11.7 Ks. And I looked a bit deeper against his pitch mix over the last 30 days. The Brewers have been hapless, 29th in run value, minus 15.2 is pitiful, 29th in K percentage. And what I really like here is Verlander's changeup. I think that pitch is going to get working today. He uses it the least, but it's his best K pitch. He generates a 54.5 whiff percentage and a 36 put away percentage on that pitch. And over the last 30 days, there are 9 guys on the Brewers roster with a K percentage above 33% against the changeup from righties. So I'm just going to keep riding the trend. It seems like any pitcher that faces the Brewers is going to hit their K prop. I think Verlander could do so today.
Yeah, I like Verlander to deal as well, as I said. When you say K targets, do you mean a guy with a strikeout rate over 20%?
Preferably 23%, but like Yelich is
why
at
23? Just curious, why 23?
I just feel that's where it gets past the point of like, okay, this guy strikes out a decent amount. And then when you're talking about a guy who strikes out a lot, 27% and above is really where you're looking at huge K targets in the lineup.
Yeah, I could see that. And also, I guess if players average just over 4 at-bats a game, 23% would be, you can count on them for 1K. But they wouldn't all be against a starting pitcher, though, so that you can throw that out, actually. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, there's no pie chart showing. There it is. All right, so we got Twins at Braves. So, yeah, Twins are going to win this game. Plus 190. Plus 1.
See, it's not just me. It's not just the Braves hater.
No, I really like the spot for the Twins here. All right. So Spencer Strider hasn't been the same since the first month of the season. We've talked about that so many times. I shouldn't need to go through the numbers, but as a quick summary, in case you didn't know that, in his last 10 starts, now this is 10 starts. That's a serious sample size. In Spencer Strider's last 10 starts, he has a 5.10 ERA and a 132 whip. Those are not Cy Young numbers at all. Obviously, do I expect Spencer Strider to pitch like that the rest of the season? No. But the truth is, we haven't seen Spencer Strider look like that elite Spencer Strider since late April, basically. And then the Twins, low-key, are hitting righties. Minnesota's top 10 in every offensive category against right-handed pitching in the last 14 days. It's not really getting talked about that much because they've been so bad against lefties. But the Twins bats have been hitting right-handed pitching. I think you could definitely count on Minnesota to get at least 2 runs off Strider here, possibly more. And if you're thinking, yo, Kyle, 2 runs isn't enough to win a baseball game, though. Well, I invite you to take a look at the Braves bullpen situation because they're missing their top 3 arms. Iglesias, Nick Anderson, AJ Minter, the Braves' top 3 guys in their bullpen, all unavailable tonight. So even if you're like, okay, so I think Strider could pitch well, and I think the Twins will only score 1 or 2 runs off him. Even if you like the spot for Strider, I don't know how you like the Braves bullpen, missing their top 3 arms here. Twins are going to score runs in the second half of this game as well. And then on the other side, we got Sonny Gray pitching, who's been solid all season. I'm not expecting Sonny Gray to shut this Braves lineup down, but I also think they don't need him to. If he can give 5-6 innings, 3-4 runs, should be enough to win this game. By the way, he's pitching against a Braves lineup that's just returning from a road trip, a 6-game road trip without a day off as well. So give me Minnesota on the money line.
Yeah, I would probably play the Minnesota money line with you, but I was talking with Kyle pre-show. He had a lot of good points, especially about the bullpen that brought me over to the Twins side. Strider at this current point in time has no business being this big of a favorite, especially over a guy like Sonny Gray. Now that I said that, My favorite play for this game would be to fade Sonny Gray. Give me under 4.5 Ks. You can get that at plus 126 on FanDuel. I'm not saying that Sonny Gray is going to have a bad outing here. Guys could have excellent outings going 7 innings and still throw 3 Ks. I just think that in terms of Ks, this is not a good spot for him. So if we look at the Braves, now the last 9 righties to face this team have gone under their K total, and they're averaging less than 3 Ks per game. They've been that good. They're second in K percentage against righties over the last 2 weeks at a low as 16.2%. And that's concerning for Gray's Ks because on the road, he sees a huge decrease in K percentage, over 10% going from home to the road. And on top of that, if I'm just looking at the lineup for the Braves today, there are just 3 guys with a K percentage above 21% against righties. Eddie Rosario, Matt Olson, and Orlando Arcia. Rosario and Matt Olson are both lefties, and Sonny Gray on the road against lefties has a 13K percentage. That is extremely low. So the only real targets working for him are lefties. He's not good against lefties. And now we're getting that at a huge plus price, plus 126 with a suspect line. I'm going to take the under here. I just think that there's a lot of value to it. I think this is way better than a 50-50 shot, and we're getting it at way better odds than it is.
I'm on the Twins as well. I took them in the first 5 at plus 195, and I took them on the money line at plus 190. I just saw, first of all, Spencer Strider, if he goes 6 full innings, that's a long night for that kid. So the reason that Braves bullpen being taxed is so important is because of that. It's not anything against Spencer Strider particularly. It's just the fact that he just doesn't go long. It's all gas, no breaks, and then when he's done, he's done. So the Braves bullpen, they also just played in hot Cincinnati in a pretty emotional series too. I know they ended up winning those games, but like I said, with the bullpen situation the way it is, and then also the Twins, like he said, against right-handed pitching have just been really, really good. They've got multiple guys with WRC pluses over 100. Of course, my computer's not loading now, but a ton of guys with WRC pluses over 100, which obviously 100 is the league average. So it's a huge play on a price that it's kind of hard to beat. So I'll take my chances.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, and did you see Tim in the comments? Tim, we all in the private chat, we all bet Twins minus 1.5 at plus 295. I think it was some big payout there. That's on Tim. So if that doesn't hit, you can find him in the comments. His name's Tim W. something. That's all on him. Go blame him. All right, let's move on to the next one. Tigers at Rangers. Tough one here. Definitely not betting the Tigers, that's for sure. I would say my 2 favorite bets in this one would be either Texas minus 1.5 or Detroit team total under 3.5. Tigers bullpen is a little gassed. They're going to be missing 2, maybe 3 arms, I think it is. I like the spot for Andrew Heaney. I know he hasn't pitched well as of late, but at home against the Tigers lineup, I think it's a really good spot for him to bounce back. I know the Tigers were putting up decent numbers against left-handed pitching for a small stretch in there, but they really weren't seeing any. They were putting up good numbers against left-handed lefties out of the bullpen. The last lefty they saw, hold on. I got it right here. I wrote it down. Oh, Daniel Lynch. He just came into Detroit just a few days ago and blanked the Tigers, and that was the only lefty starter they've seen in like 2.5 weeks. So I don't really trust the numbers against a particular righty or lefty when it's only against bullpen arms, because the bullpen, there's so much variance between the pitching styles that it just means a little bit less to me. So I think Andrew Heaney throws a good game. And then in the second half of the game, like I said, the Tigers bullpen's a little gassed. This is why I'm not laying Texas minus 1.5 heavy, and why I probably won't even bet this game. I'm a little worried about Matthew Boyd pitching against the Rangers lineup. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Rangers at home against a lefty should be an auto bet based on what we've seen this season. But I don't know what I think about the Texas Rangers bats right now. They only scored 7 total runs in that 3-game series against the Yankees, and Matthew Boyd's been great on the road. Look at these splits. Matthew Boyd, he's 1-5 with a 7.49 ERA at home. On the road, he's 4-0 with a 3.44 ERA. Now, Does that mean he's just going to go into Texas and shut down this Rangers lineup? No. Take those numbers with a grain of salt. But I just the Rangers lineup scares me a little bit. It's failed to show up in the last few days. Not to mention we really haven't seen this lineup get cold yet this year. Could we be seeing the Rangers enter a bit of a cold streak? I think that's very likely. So I that's why I said Texas -1/2 or the Tigers team total under. In case if you like what I just said but are worried about the Matthew Boyd pitching on the road against the Rangers lineup, then maybe go with the Tigers team total under instead.
Yeah, I've got Rangers, Mariners, moneyline parlay at +110 for a unit. I don't really worry about the Rangers bats at all. If they go cold against this Detroit team, they go cold, so be it. But sometimes Yankee Stadium does funny things to certain teams. Not trying to make excuses for them, but it is what it is. Back home, I have no reason, especially against a lefty, to doubt this lineup. Heaty's been really consistent. Even if he gives up 3, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think that's going to be not enough for Detroit to score. Matthew Boyd, yeah, he's been really good on the road. His last time out on the road against Minnesota, 6 innings, gave up 7 hits and 4 runs. I think that performance alone would net a loss for the Tigers. So we'll see. He did pitch well against the Royals and the Nationals, his other 2 starts on the road. But again, he gave up 3 runs in 5 2/3 against the Nats. So he did get a win. But if he pitches like that in Texas, they're going to lose. So I'll take my chances.
Yeah, my favorite prop for this one, Andrew Heaney, under 6.5 Ks. Got this at -118 earlier today. Best odds you can currently get it at is -130 on PointsBet. Simply put, this line's a huge overreaction to the Tigers' K struggles in the Minnesota series. Maeda had 8, Lopez had 10, Ober had 8. So what do the books do? Accordingly, they put the line extra high for this Heaney start. But the thing is, Heaney's a left-handed pitcher. The other 3 guys I just named are righties. Against lefties over the last month, they're first in K percentage, 15.6%. And of the last 11 lefties to face Detroit, 9 of them have went under, averaging 3.3. In the Detroit Practice lineup, there's one singular Tiger with a K percentage above 21% against lefties over the last month. And against Heaney's pitch mix over the last month, they sit 8th best in K percentage. They're just 19%. Heaney's gone under 11 of 14 starts, 7-1 to the under at home. His lone over at home came against a KC team that is bottom 3 in K percentage against lefties. He's gone under both previous starts against Detroit, averaging 4.5. And if this line was at 5.5, I would still consider an under. So for a -130, under 6.5, there's way too much value to pass up on.
Just to respond to one of the comments that said Heaney's horrible at home. This is why, if you notice in my videos, I always display the production of starting pitchers on a chart. Because if you take out that one start where he gave up 7 runs to Baltimore in like an inning and 2/3 or 2 innings, then his numbers at home actually aren't nearly as bad. That's why it's important to look. If there's just one outlying performance that's throwing off all the numbers, it can really skew your vision of things. So, no, he hasn't been great at home. So you're not completely wrong, but make sure you take out that crazy Baltimore start back in April when you look at his home numbers, because it's nuts. He gave up 7 runs in like 2 innings, and that's going to make he could have 4 great starts after that, and his numbers at home would still look bad. So it's important to look for those outliers. I wasn't trying to like call that guy out. I was just responding. That wasn't a.
That reminds me of Braxton Garrett's home stats because of the one Brave start where he allowed 12 runs and 14 hits. He's a beast at home. Do not let that sway you.
Right, yeah, those outliers are crazy, especially in baseball. All right, next game. White Sox at Angels. In my opinion, this is the hardest game to bet on the board. I know if you look at the prices, you might be like, what are you talking about? There's -200 favorites. I couldn't decide on where to go on this one. I think my favorite bet will probably be, I've already made my decision. First 500, 4.5. You can get it like -120. Maybe depending on your book, it might be juiced to -125. Super square. Just playing 2 hot starting pitchers right now. Dylan Cease definitely started off the season rough, but I think it's 4 or 5 good solid starts in a row. Certainly since June started, he's been great. Starting to look like his old self. And then White Sox are not hitting lefties like they were last year. I mean, it looked like for a week and a half the White Sox were going to start getting hot against lefties. That didn't work out. Reed Detmers has pitched really well. I don't see any reason to doubt him at home against the White Sox. I just can't see either team putting up more than 2 runs on the opposing starting pitcher here. So to get this at 4.5, a lot of books it might even be down to 4. In which case, like, I don't know. Use your judgment. I don't love the bet. It's just that if I had to choose, this is the direction I'd go here.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I didn't get to look at this game too much, but something that just came to my head, if you could get Reed Detmers under 2.5 earned runs at anything better than -140, that'd be my play in this spot. Don't know if that's the case, though. I'm checking right now. Nah, it's at -155, so scratch that. I'm just gonna tail you on the first 5 under 4.5 there. Dylan Cease is on demon time. He's looking like himself again. Angels are coming off a series at Coors where they fucking lit up the score sheet, due for a ton of regression here in the first start back at home. On the other side, we got Reed Detmers, who looks excellent over his last 3 starts, has faced some really tough opponents during that span too. Now you're gonna face a White Sox team who's better against lefties, but actually just fucking sucks. I think he should go out there and flat out bully these dudes. So at 4.5, I feel like that's just taking too much into account their season long stats. If we're looking at the last month or so, this first 5 total should be at 4 maximum.
Agreed.
So I like the 4.5.
I agree. If you isolate the last month, it seems like 4.5 is kind of a gift.
Sorry, I can't hear Beaver on my end at all, so I can't tell when I have to like watch his mouth to see when he's done talking. Yeah, I'm on the White Sox full game and first 5. I bet it last night, so I got a little bit better for a number. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I got them plus 118 in the first 5 and plus 120 on the game. Look, I understand that Detmers has pitched really, really good the last few times he's out. I'm not sure if I believe that that's going to stay that way. And honestly, I don't really want to play this Angels team that's kind of been slumping lately, 4-6 their last 10 coming out of Coors. Not really the spot that I really want to back them in. I also don't really like how that bullpen's been performing. It just seems like what has been such a good, solid thing for them all year is starting to let them down a little bit. And then the White Sox, Dylan Cease has been nothing but consistent. He's got a whole bunch of no decisions, giving up 1 and 2 runs. Doesn't have the best history in LA that it was a couple years ago. He's given up 3 and 5 runs, but I just couldn't pass up the price. I understand it's went down a lot, but I don't know if I love the White Sox at plus 105, but yeah, I can't bet the Angels here. I can't lay juice with this team right now. Sometimes maybe it's just me knowing the Angels from in the past and stuff like that. But when this team goes down, it goes down in a hurry. So curious to see what happens. But I really like my spot with the White Sox.
What I put up here is where it opened. It's at plus 115 now. This line kind of did this. It came all the way down. They came all the way. So it's at plus 115 now. I don't know. That's what I put on the screen for you was plus 115. All right, let's move on to the 6th and final game. Short live show today. Nats at Mariners. Nats money line. Let's go. And by the way, it's plus 215 or whatever. It's high. This is high risk. I'm speaking like confidently, like let's go, but this is a very high risk bet here.
No, that's a lock. Every time you say let's go, I just hear lock.
Yeah, you know what? Lock. This is an absolute lock. I know Luis Castillo at home is terrifying. He's been really good at home this season. This is not a fade of Luis Castillo. That being said, Mariners have lost 4 straight Luis Castillo starts, and they're just 2-8 in Luis Castillo's last 10 starts. So they haven't been winning with this guy. In fact, they've been losing a lot more than they've been winning in Luis Castillo starts. This is a fade in every other aspect of the Seattle Mariners. I'm done with this lineup. They got held to 2 hits through 7 innings pitched from Kyle Bradish. Nearly lost my mind. In the last 14 days, the Mariners are just 22nd in WRC plus rated at pitching. Want to know where the Nats are? 17th. So the Nats have been outproducing the Mariners against righties in this righty-righty matchup. Last few right-handed starters to pitch against the Nationals, he scored 3 on Seth Lugo, 2 on that guy Waldron. Who cares? He was the Padres. 1 on Musgrove, 2 on Michaelis, 6 on Flaherty, 5 on Sandy Alcantara. This lineup hasn't been dead. They've been outproducing the Mariners. I definitely think they could score 1 and 2 off Castillo. By the way, Castillo has given up a couple runs in his last 3 starts. I think 2, 3, and 2 in his last few starts. But again, this isn't a fade of Castillo. I'm not trying to say that I don't trust Castillo at home. I do. I just think the Nationals get 1 or 2 across on him. And I think that's going to be enough because this Mariners lineup is trash. And without Munoz most likely not available in the bullpen, this bullpen goes back to trash. I don't trust the Mariners at all, so a plus 210. I think they play this game 100 times, that I win about 45, 50 of them, which put me way in the green.
Yeah. What were we going to say, Toast?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Sorry, I heard him talking, so I just didn't go.
With the motherfucking hat.
Yeah, I have that Mariners parlay with the Rangers. I understand how bad Luis Castillo has looked in a way, but and I do worry. I was worried about the Mariners coming home from an East Coast road trip. That's what I was worried about. And then I went and looked at their game logs, and coming home from road trips, they're 3-1, and they've scored 5, 4, 8, and 11 runs. So maybe just coming back home is exactly what they need. So I did that. And then I also have J.P. Crawford and Eugenio Suarez each to record a hit at plus 115. So that's how I rolled with that one.
Yeah, I mean, this game's gross. I like the Nats to win tomorrow. So what I'm going to do today is give me Luis Castillo to record a win at minus 110. I know what Kyle said. I know they're 2-8 in his last 10, but in his last 3 home starts, he's 2-1 to recording a win. And guess who they were against? The dog shit Pirates and the dog shit Athletics. I feel like the Nats fit right in with that group. And I feel like there's just too many advantages for the Mariners here, even with their
advantages? What advantages?
Clear pitching edge, clear bullpen edge.
Bullpen?
How could you say, how the fuck could you say that the Nationals bullpen is not far worse than the Mariners bullpen? It has been the entire season.
If you isolate it to just the time the season spent without Munoz in the bullpen, I bet you it's close.
Okay, well, the Nationals aren't going to have Harvey or Thompson available. Weems pitched 21 pitches yesterday. Espino pitched 27. So,
yeah, Mr.
Good luck with that.
Usage. Did you check this one? Because I feel the
you guys are really hammering home this. You guys are really hammering home this minus 260 favorites. Couple of sharp guys here.
No, I know.
We're not even talking about this side. You asked what advantages they had, and we answered, and then you came back with a bogus
no advantages.
Here we go,
no advantages.
Eat on him. Eat on this man.
See, anyone talk about Seattle advantages clearly didn't watch their game yesterday, because I watched that whole game. I've never seen such a despicable baseball performance. Julio Rodriguez should go back to AAA for like a few months. This dude he sucks. He sucks. All right, that's the end.
Oh, yeah. You're good. I'm just gonna let it
go. Do we do a community parlay with only 6? I mean, there's only 6. What do we do? The same poll 3 times? All right. So how about this? We're gonna put 4 legs on, I guess, and then we'll just keep running.
Why don't you see if the comments are on the Twins with us, and if that we can find another big favorite, and that would be a nice little 2-teamer. If not.
I don't
Braves
know.
minus 15.
How about this? I'll put Twins. I'll put Twins and Nats on there for a 2-person pool, and we'll see who they like better, Twins or Nationals.
That makes sense.
And we'll build a parlay with one of them. All right, so pick which of these dogs do you guys like better? I mean, they're both gonna win, so you can't. There's no wrong answer here, folks.
I don't even disagree with you as far as the spot and stuff like that. Like, I 100% agree with you.
No, you and Prop Beaver just love that Seattle bullpen.
No, clown. We just completely disagreed with the fact that you said there's no edges. There's edges in all 3 facets for the Mariners.
Not batting.
You could actually argue that the Nats bats are better.
Not argue. It's a fact. That lineup sucks.
I also don't really like this. There's a little bit of an emotional letdown for the Nats, too, after playing the Padres, if you listen to the media. Because all their players were sticking it to the Padres for trading them, you know.
Exactly. So
I don't know.
Listen, the Mariners are going to dominate tonight, and then the Woo is going to get his ass kicked.
If you want to talk about emotional letdowns, the Mariners on the plane ride home from the Baltimore game.
But they're back at home where they love it. They got their nice.
There's nothing to love about being a Seattle Mariner right now. It's disgusting. All right, so Twins money line wins. So
they're probably disgusted in that disgusting East Coast. That's probably what happened.
What kind of an insult is that? All right. So I'm just going to put options to parlay with the Twins money line. So we got We'll go Angels money line, White Sox money line, Mets money line.
Geez, that Tigers bullpen's a lot more taxed than I thought too. Whew.
Reds money line. What do you guys want to see in this parlay with the Twins? Mets off to an early lead.
Gotta type up the Sonny Gray thing. The
That's actually
line
not
is
a bad one.
moving
Plus 333.
fast right now.
Someone said Toast is getting heated. Yeah, don't make fun of his Mariners. He gets upset.
Yeah, my Mariners.
All right. He's like the most closeted Mariners fan. He claims to be a Padres fan, but if you insult the Mariners, he gets super salty.
I did pick them to win the World Series.
I know. So did I. What the fuck is up with this team?
I picked Seattle.
okay.
I picked Seattle under 86.5 wins.
That's okay. I got a couple of nice winners. I'll be all right.
5 seconds if you want to. Looks like Mets is going to win unless we get a late surge from Cincinnati.
I also sprinkled Joe Ryan to win the Cy Young at plus 1900 yesterday.
I mean, I don't know enough about Cy Young odds. Like, I don't even know if that's a good bet.
I mean, 1900's really solid.
Well, I would like to know how many players at this point in the season had numbers like that went on to win it in order for me to say whether that's a good bet. You know what I mean? All right. So
I
Mets
didn't even do all that. He's just he's like the best number, like in all the expected numbers. He's like the number one guy. So I was like, at plus 1900, that's going to be worth a sprinkle.
Twins money line, Mets money line. What does that put us at? It's probably going to be
Plus 333.
356.
So let's add another. Let's go another leg. I'm feeling crazy. Let's put the third leg in there. So we'll go back to Angels money line. Let's put Reds money line in there because people like that. And then we could do Rangers money line. I think the Rangers are probably going to win that because I think a lot of people like Texas, and I agree with them. Now I'm excited to watch the Nationals-Mariners game tonight. It's like a half-unit bet. It's not even one of my big ones, but now I'm excited so I can come back here tomorrow and be like, yo, guys, do you remember?
And I'm going to say what you did. I don't remember betting that.
I've never said that.
Okay.
Rangers looks like it's going to take it. Reds hanging in there, though. Wow, the comments want Reds bad. Maybe we should put 4 legs in there, make it Reds and Rangers, play a monster. How about this? All right, I got it. So Rangers wins this. Let's go Rangers money line. I'm going to do one more poll.
Why don't we just do a round robin?
Hold on.
Ooh, a 4. Yo. Reds, Mets, Twins, Rangers, 1355. 13's my lucky number. I could hit.
Here we go. I'm posting one last poll now. Let's go.
Ain't nobody saying no to that shit.
Should we add the Reds money line to make it 4 legs? Yes or no? Are we taking a home run swing on this Monday? No, there's some votes coming in on no, Prop Beaver. You don't know this community. This community likes to take home run swings.
Ooh, good news. Jazz Chisholm is back.
Wow, finally. I give it 4 games before he's hurt. No, I like Jazz Chisholm. It's just like, can you think of anyone? I mean, I don't really know all the MLB The Show covers, but I just thought that was like the biggest miss. Like, I like him. He's a superstar, but like, there's so many cool people they could have put on there instead.
Name one.
Jordan Alvarez. What a badass cover.
That would have been
He's
cool.
cooler than Jazz Chisholm? No.
100%.
You got to. So
In
how
my
do you
eyes,
do
he
on
is.
commercials?
He's way
I would
cooler.
definitely say Jordan Alvarez is much cooler.
All right, what's
than
that? What's those
Jazz
odds for that?
1355.
Monster. Community parlay. Twins money line. Mets money line. Rangers money line. Reds money line. Plus 1355. Wow. As always, thank you for watching. Tomorrow we'll be back 4 p.m. It'll be me, Toast, and Finesse in the Books is joining us tomorrow. And we'll go through all 15 games. Tuesday's a good show. So everyone enjoy your night. Remember to bet responsibly. There's only 6 games on tonight. Don't let that be the reason you overextend. That's kind of hypocritical coming from a guy who just put a 4-leg parlay on the screen. But seriously, bet responsible. Bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you on Twitter. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good night, y'all.